What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the Angry Spud. In today's Spud Reacts, Ryan is taking us to Switzerland to see what this country's all about. So here we're going to see the top 25 places to visit in Switzerland. So come along and let's dive in.
What's up, guys? My name is Ryan, and I spent the last several years exploring the incredible country of Switzerland.
Oh my goodness.
I want to share with you my favorite places. So here's my Switzerland top 25.
Ooh, here we go.
If anyone asks me...
Oh, I'm going to start off by saying Switzerland was one of the places growing up that I've always wanted to live. Germany and Switzerland, because they're like literally the same thing and right next to each other. I wouldn't say same thing, but very similar. Definitely Switzerland. Even now I've looked into it, like last year, like, hey, can I buy property there? Or am I allowed to live there? The stipulations, and there are quite a few, but I think it's possible one day.
Where my favorite country is, I'll always reply with Switzerland. It's not only absolutely beautiful, but Switzerland is one of the most well-run, clean, and just overall perfect country on earth, in my opinion. From endless enchanting villages to the majesty of the Alps, you'll understand why I love it so much when you visit. Let's start this video off at Grindelwald. Almost every time I come to Switzerland, I find myself back at this enchanting village. I mean, when you think of Switzerland, this is it. Swiss chalets, green pastures, and mountains everywhere you look. It never ceases to blow my mind. Now, Grindelwald is overshadowed by the Eiger Mountain. The Eiger's north face rises over 1,800 meters high and is considered to be one of the most challenging climbs in the Alps. Now,
I would love to climb that.
There's just so much to do. Me and my brother rented some e-bikes and we rode them up the mountain. We made it to the famous first cliff walk and checked that out, and then we rode to the Kalpsi Lake.
Ooh, was that glass? Was that glass right under it so you can...
cliff walk and check that out.
Yeah, I think that's glass. Look at that right there. So you can stand on that and it'd be even more scary.
And then we rode to the Kalpsi Lake. I mean, I can't recommend Grindelwald enough. There's just something magical about this Swiss village. Now, after, we're going to head over
That's so beautiful.
I recently visited this iconic spot, and I was pleasantly surprised. Now, to reach Harderkulm, you can walk from the Interlaken train station, and then you'll take up this steep funicular that costs about $35. Now, when you reach the top, there's a restaurant and incredible viewing area. If you want, you can hike up the mountain ridge to Hardergrat. I underestimated how far it was, but it still was beautiful up there. Now, one of my favorite features of Harderkulm is the view that you get of the iconic Eiger, Monk, and Jungfrau mountains. I think one of the best times to go up here is during sunset. The light hits the mountain perfectly and creates for an amazing atmosphere up there. After, we're going to head over.
So why was that built? Is that just built for like scenery and whatnot, like newly built? Not new, but like, I don't know, within the last 50 years or something? Or is that something that was old, like from way back then, and they've just, you know, renovated it and whatnot? I'm curious to know that.
Over to eastern Switzerland to visit Zilsersee. Located a few minutes outside of St. Moritz, I think this is one of the best places to experience the golden larches in the fall. The lake is just massive. It's the largest natural lake in the Alps above 1,000 meters. One of the unique features of the lake is this peninsula. It's almost like a connected island that juts out into the lake, and it's a great place to hike and explore some nature. There's a road that goes along the lake's edge, and I like just pulling off to one of the many rest stops and enjoying the beauty of this alpine lake. Now, afterwards, we're going to take a drive on the nearby Bernina Pass. It's a scenic road that connects St. Moritz to the Italian border. On the drive, you'll witness massive mountain glaciers, and if you go in autumn, there's going to be tons of those golden larches. Now, one of the main reasons I wanted to
look at that train. That thing is just like amazing. Imagine that coming through your town.
Bernina Pass was to see the Brusio Spiral Viaduct. It's located right near the Italian border in the town of Brusio. It's this incredibly unique viaduct that was built in 1908 to reduce the incline gradient on the train. Now, the famous Bernina Express rides along the viaduct many times during the day. While you're there, you can walk around and under the viaduct's 9 arches as you wait for the Bernina Express to pass by. After, we're going to go for a swim at Valle Versasca. Located in the Italian region of Switzerland, Valle Versasca is famous for having this medieval bridge that goes over some of the clearest river water in the world. I've been here several times, and every occasion I'm just baffled by the beauty of this place.
And you can swim, and oh my goodness.
And the bridge is a prime place to do some cliff jumping It took me a while to build up the courage to jump, but I was able to throw a gainer into the water. Another fun thing you can do is swim in the river. I brought some goggles, and I couldn't believe the clarity of the water.
Wow.
The rocks look so interesting from beneath, and even though it was cold, there's just something energizing about swimming in freezing cold water. After visit the city.
Actually, swimming in cold water or like a shower that's cold is really good for your body. You should look into the health benefits.
Zurich. Located in north-central Switzerland, Zurich is one of the world's largest financial center. It's often labeled as one of the most expensive cities in the world. Now, Zurich was founded by the Romans in 15 BC.
I was about to say, that almost looked Italian. That building right there, that almost looked Italian or something. Am I the only one who thinks that?
Most expensive cities in the world. Now, Zurich was founded by the Romans in 15 BC, and today it's the most populous city in Switzerland. I mean, it's just hard to beat the scenery of the city there. I love how it sits at the edge of the lake.
Oh my goodness.
And the Limmat River runs right through it. Another thing that I love about Zurich is there's so many places that are just an hour or two's drive from the city. One of my favorite nearby places is Limmernsee. It's about an hour and a half drive from Zurich. You start by taking up a cable car, and when you reach the top, you're going to go through a 3-kilometer tunnel through the mountain. I believe it was originally built by a company who made the dam, and now you could walk through it. We reached the end, and we arrived at the lake. It's this striking turquoise color.
Oh, it's a dam.
By an amphitheater of mountain walls. Now, the hike to the top was freaking hard. It's very steep and felt like it went on forever. But after about an hour, we made it to the iconic viewpoint. It's this rocky peninsula that gives you a perfect view of the reservoir below. I just had a blast running around up there. I mean, there's no greater feeling than running free in the mountains. Afterwards, we're going to visit Vernalpstok. Vernalpstok is this giant mountain that sits above Lake Lucerne. Now, to reach it, you take
look at the grass. I would just love to mow that grass. The lines you could make. Oh, man.
Spawn Funicular, which is the steepest in Europe, and it'll take you to the beautiful car-free village of Stews. And from there, you'll take up 2 more chairlifts. Now, once you reach the top, you'll have a phenomenal view of Lake Lucerne and the surrounding mountains. From Vernalpstok, you can make the hike to Klingenstock. It's a 4.4-kilometer trail that rides along the ridge. And once you reach Klingenstock, you can take the chairlift down to Stews. Overall, such a beautiful area. Now, after we're going to visit Schäßerrück, located in eastern Switzerland, about a 2-hour drive from Zurich. This is a mountain peak and also a ski resort in the winter. Now, to reach the top, you'll take up a funicular and then another chairlift. When I reached the top, I was just stoked. It had just snowed the night before, so there was this fresh layer of powder, and it created for such a beautiful scenery. What I love about Schäßerrück is the view you get of the Schierfürsten mountain range. It's a set of peaks that look like teeth coming out of the mountain. I mean, it's so cool, and I love to come up here during the summertime.
Wow, so when the snow is all melted, they look completely different. Same formation, but just completely different. That is amazing. There's so much landscape here that is up on these huge cliffs that it's almost scary that you can see for miles and miles the vast mountain ranges. And peaks, and that's crazy to me.
While you're up there, you can get a bite to eat at the Modern Lodge, where there's plenty of hiking trails with amazing views. Right below Schäßerrück is one of my favorite lakes in Switzerland, Wallensee. It's this rather large lake, and it's surrounded by mountains on both sides. I mean, it's an amazing place to go swimming or boating in the summertime. One thing that I thought was so interesting was that there was this town that was built on the mountainside called Almer. I mean, it just baffles me that the Swiss are able to build villages and towns in the most unlikely places.
That's what I was thinking. It looks amazing.
Of Appenzell. Located about an hour outside of Zurich, these mountains quickly became one of my favorite places I've ever been. It's home to these massive, jagged mountains that look like something straight out of Lord of the Rings. Now, to get to the mountain,
I was thinking
I took a gondola, and then from the top, we hiked about an hour to reach this hotel. Me and my buddy Danny decided to stay the night so we could watch the sunset. We got all settled in, then we ventured off to find the perfect spot to watch the sunset. The clouds were covering the sky, so we only had about 15 minutes of sunlight. But man, it was easily one of the best sunsets of my life. I mean, I just can't believe the beauty of these mountains.
Look at them standing right there. You can just literally just go wherever you want and venture off. That's breathtaking to me. I mean, would you do that?
It's what dreams are made of. Now, there's also a one-of-a-kind restaurant built into the side of a cliff, and there's also this incredible lake at the bottom. Both of them I failed to visit, so don't make my mistake if you come. After, we're going to visit the nearby Saxarluque. Now, I've been wanting to do this hike for years, and I finally did it this fall. You can start the hike several ways. I took the cable car from Frumsen, and it was about 36 Swiss francs round trip. And when you reach the top, there's this scenic mountainside restaurant that has some amazing views of Austria and
Look at that.
Now, you can follow the trail to Saxarluque. It wasn't too difficult and took about 45 minutes to reach the iconic rock formation. I mean, I was just freaking excited to be up there. It's such a uniquely shaped mountain, and there's plenty of great viewpoints to see it from. I was here during the fall, so the grass was yellow, but I love to come back in the summertime when everything's nice and green. I mean, I just love the mountains in the Appenzell region. They're just so unique and just such a beautiful area all around.
So he said he paid in Swiss franc to go up that like gondola thing. I actually have a Swiss franc, and it's one of my favorite notes that I have of currency. I have it in one of my videos somewhere that I did a while ago, but yeah, I love the Swiss franc money.
We're going to head over to western Switzerland to visit the charming medieval town of Gruyere. I was here this last summer, and I was just blown away by this little town. The crowning feature of Gruyere is its castle. It was built in the 13th century, and today it stands as one of Switzerland's most famous fortresses. I just love the backdrop it has of the Alps. I mean,
Look
just
at that.
Such an insane location. Aside from the castle, the town is just fun to walk around, and it's also known for being the home of the famous Gruyere cheese, which is one of the most popular cheeses in all of Switzerland. Now,
really?
We're going to head to the nearby glacier.
What's up with all these places and their cheese? So it was the Netherlands, and then down to Germany, and then now down to Switzerland. It's all about the cheese. Is it really that good? I don't know. Maybe one day I'll find out.
3000. Now, located about an hour from Gruyere, Glacier 3000 is this incredible mountain area. Now, the main reason I wanted to go here was to visit the Peak Walk, which is the only peak-to-peak bridge in all of Switzerland. We had to take 2 gondolas.
That's kind of scary, actually.
And when we reached the top, we were at the edge of some clouds. I mean, it was just so wild to be up there, and I'd love to go back on a clear day to get a better view of the mountains. Now,
you can touch the clouds.
There's this place called Creux du Champ. It's this gigantic bowl of mountains, and there's several waterfalls that
sounded
cascade
French
down the rock face. Now, the mountains in the bowl are called the Les Diablerets.
So, okay, one of those, I want to be able to be...
Face. Now, the mountains...
Right here. One of these, I want to be able to, like, lay my face under that and drink the water. Like, how many trace minerals would you get from that? That's just got to be amazing.
In the bowl are called the Les Diablerets, which translates to the devils, because there's a myth that devils and demons would throw rocks off the top of the mountain. Now, to get to the bowl...
Okay, maybe never mind, because it sounds like a rock is going to come down and smash my face.
It's about a 45-minute walk from the town of Les Diablerets. I mean, it's just such a scenic and quiet area, and definitely worth the visit. Now, afterwards, we're going to visit one of my favorite cities in all of Switzerland, Geneva. Located on the southern tip of Lake Geneva in western Switzerland, Geneva is Switzerland's second most populous city after Zurich. I was lucky enough to live here for a summer, and I just absolutely loved it. It's where the headquarters of the United Nations are, so there's a lot going on. The Geneva Water Fountain is one of the city's most famous landmarks, as it jets out water that shoots over 140 meters
Holy.
high.
I was about to say, they just got a random, like, water fountain thing that's shooting up into the sky. Look at that. It's bigger than the Ferris wheel down there. That's insane. Huh.
Of Geneva, and I hope you all can visit one day. Now, if you want to explore more of Lake Geneva, I recommend checking out the vineyards that border the lake. One of my favorite places is near this village called Epis. It's full of terraced vineyards that accompany the view of the massive lake. I mean, it doesn't even feel like you're in Switzerland. I felt like I was in France or Italy. The north shore of Lake Geneva is called the Swiss Riviera, and I totally understand why. Now, afterwards, we're going
So it had that little town right there. I wonder if they're all responsible for the vineyards. That's kind of cool.
to visit Oschinense. Now, I think this is one of the most impressive alpine lakes in all of Switzerland. To reach it, it's about an hour's drive from Interlaken, and then you can either hike up or take up a gondola. Now, when you reach the top, it's just a short walk to the lake. The mountain face that serves as the lake backdrop is just unbelievably massive. Now, if you go in the summertime, you can take a boat or swim in the water if you can handle the cold. Now, one of my favorite
if you
things
can
to do
handle
at
the
Oschinense
cold,
is to hike the trail that goes above the lake. You'll just get some phenomenal views up there, and there's also this pair of pine trees that are perfectly lined up as they overlook the lake and creates for such a beautiful sight. Now after, we're going to head over
amazing.
to Thufferal. Special thanks to my buddy Gemographic for taking me here. He has one of the best YouTube channels on Switzerland, and I'll link it in the description below.
Perfect.
If you're into hiking and nature, you'll really enjoy this place.
You know what? I wonder if you can find geodes or something like out there. Like any gems or, crystals or anything like that. If anybody knows about that type of stuff, let me know, because I'm going to have to go out there and go explore.
This valley surrounded by massive mountains on both sides and home to those golden larches. To get there from Oshinenzi, you can take this train that you drive your car onto, and it'll take you through the mountain, and then it's just a short drive after. There's a big parking lot, and from there you can take about a 20-minute hike, and you'll reach this little alpine lake called Grunzi. I mean, it was so clean and clear, and had an impressive backdrop of the mountains. Now, if you're really up for adventure, you can hike up to the glacier, and there's some beautiful mountain huts up there. After, we're going to visit the ideal...
That's so crazy that you can just go out there and explore. I wonder how much wildlife you encounter. Like, if you're just, strolling up some hill and you see this bear just come up, does that happen often, or are they all, gone or something? I'm curious to know that.
Village of Lugern. If you're on your way to visit the Jungfrau region from Zurich, you'll probably pass through Lugern. Now, one of my favorite features of this area is its lake. I really enjoyed just walking along the shore. It was so peaceful and serene. I mean, if you're looking for an idyllic Swiss village, you'll find it here. Another
grass-fed cows.
Village is Itterwald. It's a small municipality built on Lake Brienz. Now, one of the most notable features of the city is its castle, which sits perfectly on the picturesque peninsula. I mean, Switzerland just has too many scenic villages. Now, after, we're going to visit the Aletsch Glacier. Now, located in the Bernese Alps, the Aletsch Glacier is over 23 kilometers long, making it the longest glacier in Switzerland. I mean, just so freaking huge. When I got to the top, it was just hard to fathom the scale of this glacier, and I found the uniform dark lines of shattered rock so interesting. When you're up at the top, you can enjoy a meal at the restaurant, or you can hike to the cross on
Look at all those rocks.
You get a panoramic view of the glacier. Now, at the very end of Aletsch Glacier is the Jungfrau Joch. Me and my buddies decided...
Hey! That place...
Now, at the very end...
Was that in a movie? I feel like that building was in a movie or something like that. Like Mission Impossible or some type of one of those movies. I don't know. That's going to bother me.
Of Aletsch Glacier is the Jungfrau Joch. Me and my buddies decided to take Europe's highest train to the top. Now, normally the tickets in summertime cost around $240, but we got the early bird special, so it was half off. We rode the train up the mountain. Halfway, we made a pit stop, and we were able to see the glacier. After the pit stop, we got back on the train and made it to the top. When you reach the final stop, you'll get off the train and go through some tunnels. It was a little confusing to me. Anyways, we made it to the ice plateau, and we were able to get an incredible view of the glacier below. After, we went on top of the Sphinx Observatory to get some more amazing views. Now, one of the coolest parts of Jungfrau Joch is the glacier tunnels. You're able to walk through these tunnels carved out of ice.
What?
And surprisingly, it wasn't too cold or slippery. While a trip to Jungfrau
because it's like an igloo.
Expensive, I think everyone should do it at least once in their life. After, we're going to head down to the magical village of Lauterbrunnen. This is possibly the most beautiful village on earth. It's a valley of over 72 waterfalls, and it inspired J.R.R. Tolkien's Rivendell. To get to
Oh my, that just hit me home. Rivendell, because I'm such a huge Lord of the Rings fan, as you can see by my videos. But this is what inspired Rivendell from Tolkien. Oh my goodness, I did not know that. This is definitely on my bucket list. I have to go here.
And it inspired J.R.R. Tolkien's Rivendell. To get to Lauterbrunnen, it's about a 2-hour drive from Zurich. The Stabach Falls is one of the most magical features of Lauterbrunnen. It falls over 297 meters
Look at that.
into the valley. If you do visit Lauterbrunnen, I recommend just walking around the village and marveling at all the beauty Lauterbrunnen has to offer. After, we're going to visit the village of Mürren. Now, just from Lauterbrunnen, it's just a few minutes drive down the valley. Now, the city is just enchanting. It's filled with Swiss chalets and incredible views. The main reason I wanted to go to Mürren is to do the iconic Via Ferrata. I rented some gear at the Intersport store for about $25, and I was all ready to go. Before you start, you walk through this tunnel. It's a good initiation and gets you pumped or nervous for what's to come. You then follow the path, and it's pretty chill for the first bit. You just walk through a little forest, but then you get to the cliffs. There was this base jump platform to jump into the valley below. Just standing on it made my stomach drop. Anyways, after that, the Via Ferrata gets a little wild. My favorite part is the section that goes across this sheer cliff face with the 1,000-foot drop right below you. I mean, it's perfectly safe.
Oh my
as long as
gosh.
you're clipped in to the iron wire with your gear. After the cliff section, we continued on the trail and the
I got it. Would you guys, I don't know, hold on, let me pause it. Would you guys do this? Who would do this? You have to let me know, because I totally would do this. I love heights, but I mean, I feel like I would want a backup parachute just in case. It seems like they got 2 clips, so you take one off, put it on, and then you take the other one off and put it on, so that just in case you mess up or you, I don't know, slip or something, you're not going to die. But that is kind of scary, even for someone who loves heights. Jeez.
Section, we continued on the trail, and the final obstacle is a bridge that goes over a deep canyon. This was honestly the scariest part for me because it was kind of shaky towards the middle.
I would do that one. That doesn't seem too hard because we have to do that in the military. I had to do that like all the time, like confidence course and stuff, but I like that one. So that one's easy. The other one, though.
And the 1,000-foot plus drop is intimidating, but nonetheless, I finished and made it to the town of Gimmelwald. It took me about 2 hours to do, and it was just so freaking fun. Another incredible place to visit in the area is Schilthorn. It's an iconic mountain peak above Marin. Now, the lift tickets were on the pricey side.
Did I see 007 on there?
So freaking fun.
Is that what that is? That almost looks like James Bond 007. Correct me if I'm wrong. That's just kind of what it looks like.
Place to visit in the area is Schilthorn. It's an iconic mountain peak above Marin. Now, the lift tickets were on the pricey side, around $125 a person. And you take up several lifts through the clouds until you reach the top. The Schilthorn is famous for being featured in the 1969 James Bond film.
Oh my gosh.
007 memorabilia on top. The views are
well, there you go.
You get clear views of the Jungfrau, Monk, and Eiger Mountains. You can enjoy a meal in the rotating restaurant that completes a full rotation every 45 minutes. We followed a trail that led us on the ridge. I saw a guy preparing to paraglide, and we found some little huts to shelter from the wind. The weather conditions changed so fast up there. 1 second it would be clear, and then a few minutes later it would be covered in clouds. I mean, gotta love those high altitude conditions. Now, after exploring Schilthorn, you can take the gondola to the lower station of Berg. There's incredible views and a place to have a meal. There's also the Thrill Walk attraction, which has several fun obstacles, whether it's walking on a tightrope or crawling through a wire tube.
Oh my gosh.
Below. It's sure to get your adrenaline pumping. Now, for our final destination, we're going to visit Zermatt. It's a charming village shadowed over by the daunting Matterhorn Mountain, and there's just something magical about this place. Now, the city is full of shops and restaurants, including my favorite, McDonald's. Now, one thing you gotta do while you're there is take the Gornergrat Railway. It starts in Zermatt and takes you up to 3,100 meters to enjoy some of the best views of the Matterhorn. We got up super early to take the first train and climbed up the mountain. I was just baffled by the views. Now, we got off at
It reminds me of like Gandalf's hat. Every time I see that peak, that's literally what I think of, either Gandalf the White or Gandalf the Gray, his hat, and that's the peak. That's what I keep thinking of.
Rotenboden Station, and I was just so freaking excited. I've been wanting to come here for years, and it lived up to the hype. There are 2 lakes that offer some of the best views of the Matterhorn, and if the conditions are just right, you can see a perfect reflection of the world famous peak. Not only is the views magical, but there are some of the cutest sheep I've ever seen. They have the curliest hair and twisted horns, and look like an animal you would find in a fantasy novel. Now, after running around
or RuneScape or something,
to the top of the railway to the Gornergrat. It's one of the coolest hotels that I'd love to stay at one day. It reminds me of an evil villain's hideout. Once again, you'll get incredible views of the Matterhorn and the massive glacier below. Now, if you want to get up close and personal to the Matterhorn, I'd recommend you take the gondola up to Schwarzsee. It costs about $60 a person, and you get on the lift in Zermatt. It then takes you up to this little mountain lake called Schwarzsee, and from there you can hike up to the base of the Matterhorn. And this was probably one of my favorite things we did in Zermatt. You get a chance to see the Matterhorn up close, and it's just so freaking incredible.
How far can you go?
I think mountains give off some sort of energy because I'm always amped and excited when I'm near them. If you're in Zermatt, you gotta do this hike. Well, that is it for my Switzerland top 25. There's still so many places I want to show you, so be expecting a part 2.
Just as expected, Switzerland is one of the places I truly still want to live. It's right by Germany. So I can get a little bit of everything there. The beauty here is so breathtaking, and then to know that about the Lord of the Rings too, it's like the cherry on top. I don't know. I really have to get to this place so bad. I definitely would consider Switzerland to be one of the top places in the world, if not the top, in my opinion. One of the things that caught my eye and that I'm curious about is all the small little towns in each little place. It's like a small little community. How does that work? Is it like these guys are special with this? Like, you know, people that live there, do they specialize in, I don't know, the vineyards? Does this one specialize in the cattle? How does that all work? Is it, or are they just small little cities in general? But as always, if there's anything else I need to know about Switzerland, go ahead and let me know down below. But that's all I have for this video, guys, and I'll see you in the next one.